Hi guys, following the release of my Chillwave Volume 1 for Yuhi Repro, I get a lot of requests and queries and comments actually on Chillwave to make more Chillwave stuff, um, you know, to make some Chillwave presets and additional packs. And Chillwave and Synthwave are kind of really popular genres at the moment. And I've been into Chillwave myself for 2 or 3 years, and Synthwave and the Outrun kind of styles for a lot longer, especially as a child of the 80s. It's really reminiscent for me of those kind of eras. And it's funny, because like Synthwave and Outrun, if I'm honest, I don't recall any of the music really being like that sort of style when, all the pixel art sort of stuff. Obviously, it was more about like big power ballads and kind of like really cheesy synth work in the 80s music. So actually the synthwave and the kind of Outrun stuff is a nostalgic look back to the 80s that really wasn't how it was, but I think that's why everybody loves it. It's kind of like what the 80s felt like and what the 80s should have been, but actually what the 80s wasn't. So I thought I'd put together a quick video actually, because Chillwave presets and resources and samples are really, still quite niche at the moment, so they're actually quite difficult to find. So actually I thought, I really want to do some more and more content. So I thought it'd be great if I did like a bit of a how-to kind of tutorial on just a quick, and I do mean quick, Chillwave sort of lead, and we'll do a bass line as well, and we'll talk about the kind of techniques that are used in Chillwave sounds, how to get the tonal balance, what you're kind of looking out for, and how to achieve the kind of timbre and kind of the sound of the Chillwave sounds. So a couple of instances of Repro 5 here loaded up, a bit of a drum loop as well, which I'll also cycle through. So really both initialization presets loaded on them at the moment, just to kind of give you a feel for the melody itself. And actually it sounds, quite upbeat and actually not very chill wavy at the moment. So we're going to design the sound and make that, sound a bit better. So let's crack on. Okay, so just to bring it back to basics, I'm going to mute the bass at the moment just so I can focus on the lead whilst we design that. So completely bare patch, and we'll see what we come up with. So a lot of synthwave and chillwave relies on kind of like long lazy releases and not really snappy attacks. It's more kind of a lazy attack on it as well. And Repro 5 comes with a lot of good kind of different models of the envelopes for filter and the amplitude, and also different kind of architectures for the filter itself in terms of different models it was modeled on. So we could stick it on analog, but actually the one-shot mode is quite good for kind of giving you a bit of a lazy attack, bit of a lazy release, but not too much sustain. It kind of rolls off the sound quite nice. The amplitude, if you like, rolls off quite nicely, but quite quickly. So let's just get an initial flavour for that. Soften the attack, bring some release in, again as I said earlier, lazy release, so you get it kind of tailing off. And Chillwave relies a lot on like really heavily like unstable sort of tones, so there's going to be quite a bit of frequency modulation, and at times you can sometimes kind of think, whoa, that's too much. Actually now it just sounds out of tune, but you know what, if you stick with it and you can perhaps dial it back to slightly, or introduce some noise, or darken the timbre of the sound, bring the filter down, or EQ it off on the high end, then actually it kind of really works. So, sorry, let's bring some instability into those oscillators. the voice detune there, doing its job. And if I actually just bring the fine tune down on one of the oscillators. So in most other tunes, most other music, you kind of think, well, that's not really going to fit in everywhere, anywhere, but you know, Chillwave, it actually really works. Close the filter off and bring up the envelope on the filter. And you can kind of hear that one-shot mode now really kind of doing its thing. If I put it back on analog, it's too rapid, you know, too quick, too sharp. One shot, and you can there we are, and you see that's almost kind of in theme already. Resonance just to sharpen up slightly. Bring the filter up on the release. So you catch a bit of that tail as the filter opens, but not all of it, so it kind of hangs, so the tail doesn't really hang on. We're not looking for that. I mean, that works and you can get away with that, but you want it just to kind of close off before the tail rings out. Likewise, you bring back the sustain a bit. So now let's actually start to modulate the frequency itself, because this is fine as a static sound. It sounds pretty good. We want to add some variation, some pitch variation in there to introduce some movement, which is really important in making interest into the sound. We'll frequency modulate both oscillators. From the modulation wheel, it's also got this kind of override section here. Excuse me, my mouse has just picked up a bit of dust. I'll go to the extreme so we can hear it in action, and I'll dial it back. And obviously we change the LFO rate. Sounds awful, so we'll dial it back. So you've got it there, you can almost hear it, you can certainly feel it. And also what we're going to do is modulate modulation. So we've got the attack here on a kind of slow, lazy attack. So we're actually going to use that to modulate the rate itself of the LFO. So every time the attack is kind of cycling over, the envelope is cycling over, it will very quickly just push the rate of that LFO up slightly, so you get even more movement on that sound, which is really reminiscent of the Chillwave styles on some of the leads. When you really kind of listen intently to those, you can pick it up. So we're going to use filter envelope, and we're going to drop that onto the LFO rate. And again, we'll use the extreme, so we kind of hopefully should be able to hear it. There you are. You see the attack kind of picking in and modulating that rate straight up, but we obviously don't want the extremes, we just want to dial it back. There we are. So what we've got is the LFO rate modulating the frequencies on both oscillators, but as it kind of sweeps into the sound, you know, in about half a second, probably less than that, then the LFO rate just, you know, speeds up very slightly as well. Can we kind of get like a shoe-in sort of slope effect on the LFO pitch modulation. So there's our kind of basic sounds. Introduce some noise, because Chillwave is very noise heavy. And let's get some effects on there to really kind of sweeten up the sound. Soft clip, you don't need to mess around with the amount, you know, the tone control can actually do a lot on its own. So Chillwave very characteristically kind of like dark lo-fi sort of sounds. So, you know, I think, you know, sometimes the instinct is to always brighten up a sound, because that's what sounds most pleasing to the ear. But Chillwave, we're going to really like darken it down. and some delay, nice slow one. Again, the dark preset, because that introduces some noise in the feedback lines and kind of brings the brightness really down. Lots of modulation. Don't be afraid to wash it out on the mix. Bit of EQ in resonance mode. Again, just to hollow it out slightly. Delay, reverb. Turn the volume up here. Let's just hear that now. And now let's work on the bass. Octave down. I'm going to introduce an arpeggiator on that, just to quicken up the repetition of the notes. Close the filter off on the bass. Introduce some envelope for the filter. Make it really snappy, because on the basses actually, you know, very often they are quite snappy on the Chillwave and the Outrun Styles. Like so. Perhaps some harmonics via square wave. You can sync it, which will give you a nice kind of cleanish sound, or you can leave it unsynced. Both sound very good. Little trick here, you can use trigger, which is like a really snappy envelope to again modulate cut off. You barely hear that. Just go some way just to snap out on that filter slightly. Just try altering the pulse width, just see what timbre that gives us. Yeah, that's good. And I think what we'll do is feedback sometimes can be good for listening to tweaks. Change the noise to feedback. There we are, kind of adds a bit of weight into it. Lovely stuff. Some chorus, which is very popular. Lots of modulation. And perhaps some EQ, I think. Put that before the chorus. I think I might just change the filter modes on these to something a bit more. Again, one shot on that, I think. Now let's introduce that drum. No, it hasn't really come together yet, but what's popular in Chillwave is kind of like really heavily filtering those drum lines. So let's add auto filter, state variable mode, modulate via my keyboards. That cut off now on repro as we play with the filter cut off on the drum break. Modulating between the filter cut off and the drum and the lead line now. Transpose up. There we are, guys. So just as a quick demonstration and a quick talk about some of the techniques used in many kind of chill wave lead sounds, I hope that gives you a bit of an insight. I'll probably do a part 2 of this session where perhaps we spend more time on the bass and introduce some pads into the mix as well. Again, because the techniques that vary between those three kind of concepts of the lead, the bass and the pads, in terms of the type of sound we need to get for chill wave and kind of synthwave styles, varies on those three different elements. So it'll be good to kind of get the insight on all three of those. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'll try really hard to be a bit more consistent with the videos, because I really enjoyed doing them, and I know you guys get a lot out of them. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Cheers.